Hello and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all well. I've just recently started a mini bone broth series where I hope to talk about bone broth, its benefits, as well as a couple of frequently asked questions, and just talk about my experience in general as a family of 7 where we actually use bone broth as a staple. Usually on a weekly basis I make this huge batch of bone broth. Now if you want to check out the previous video, part 1, I will link to the video in the description below, and I talk about how I prepare bone broth as well as how I store it. So I store it in 2 different ways, either in a glass container or in silicone molds where I freeze solid, then take out and put into either bags or containers. And I just use bone broth basically in any sort of salty or savory meal that requires liquid. So I substitute water or broth or maji or what your usual veggie or chicken broth for bone broth. So we've stopped using maji for a while now, since actually discovering its many different side effects and just the preservatives, thickeners and all that, and we've relied purely on bone broth. And since then it has helped us tremendously with basically our digestive system, our health, our skin. Now bone broth is one of the best sources of natural collagen, so it's really good for the health of the skin, the nails, the hair and so on, as well as helping with the digestive problems that we usually face on a daily basis. So when making bone broth, there are 3 different sources that you can use. You can use fish bones, you can use as well as fish tails and heads. You can use chicken bones and the whole carcass in general, as well as you can also use beef bones specifically, or lamb, specifically with the marrow that contains the actual benefits and the amino acids and all that you will need. These actually make the best quality bone broth. Now if you want gelatinous bone broth like that, where you actually just scoop it out and it's just full of that jelly goodness, if you intend to make chicken bone broth, I would advise you to use the whole chicken carcass, as well as the chicken feet, organic chicken feet. You will end up with very gelatinous and beautiful bone broth like that. Also, if you do use the lamb bones, in order to have gelatinous bone broth you would need to actually incorporate the marrow. You would need to use as much marrow bones. One of the most important things to consider when doing bone broth is you need to make sure that these bones are organic. That way you don't have any chemicals, any hormones that you ingest through the bone broth. So make sure that the bones are organic. The veggies and spices are also organic. And just use as much herbs as possible. We will get into that in the next video. We'll talk about more what types of herbs, spices to use in order to have the best quality bone broth. And I've been doing bone broth for the last 5 years. I'm also on keto, so if you're interested I might make a video on the specific bone broth that I do for keto. I've been on keto for about a year now, so we'll explain later on. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do let me know if you are into bone broth, what type of sources do you use, and I'd love to hear from you. Take care and have a nice day. Bye bye.